Hello once again, and this time from the entrance to the chancel itself in St Mary's Parish Church in Hinckley. You can just see the edge, the end of the altar over my left shoulder there. And today's short meditation is about prayer. Prayer is a very, very rich resource that we have available to us, by which we converse with God. But more about that, I think, in a minute. I've been doing a course on Zoom with Leicester Cathedral called Being With, and it's exploring faith. And the subject this last week has been prayer. So I'm going to be using a little bit of the meditation that we had on prayer, along with some other material that I've been studying. And the first thing is a book that I've been given to study, and it's called Called or Collared by Francis Dewar. And the one thing I do want to read out to you is something which has struck me as being particularly poignant. And speaking about prayer, there is somebody in my life now for whom prayer is probably the most important and has been really, really practiced and has become really powerful. And she is my spiritual advisor. And in this book, Called or Collared, there's one sentence, and it is, in fact, a wise, loving, and experienced spiritual guide is like gold. Who can find him or her? And it goes on to say, but they do exist. Often very much background people who do not advertise themselves or have a compulsive need to help others. Good listeners who have a first-hand experience of the joys and difficulties of their own search for God. I'm fortunate. I have found a spiritual guide who is wise, loving, and experienced. And she knows how to pray, and her prayers are very powerful. There is one particular, or two examples, really, of types of prayer. The first is taken from the course that we were doing. And we were asked some questions at the beginning. And the first four, really, of those parts of the questions are that you are in conversation with someone else, and you say to this other person, tell me some of the things that you are rich in. And then after that, tell me some of the things that you are poor in. And then they may reverse the question and say to you, tell me some of the things that you are rich in. And tell me some of the things that you are poor in. And that is described in this meditation as being a conversation. But then when you move on from that, and you turn round and say to this friend, can I tell you some of the things that you are rich in? And then follow that with, can I tell you some of the things that you are poor in? And the same thing then gets reversed. Will you tell me some of the things I am rich in? And will you tell me some of the things that I am poor in? So this then turns from being a conversation to being a relationship. And that is the type of relationship we need with God to turn prayer from being a mere conversation to being a relationship. The other example I've got is from the book Called and Collared. And in this, there is a very, very interesting example of prayer. And I'll read it straight from the book. And I've actually experienced this myself. And so I do know that it works. And I'm only reading a very small part of it. And it revolves around linking you with other people and your prayer with or for other people. And it reads thus. One way of doing this, after a few minutes, preparing yourself by sitting quietly and allowing the sensations of breathing to focus your attention, to picture your breath stream as a loop within the vast network of world's life, linking you with it. As you breathe in, allow the pain of the particular people or person you are thinking of to pass through your heart and out again. You are not to hold on to the pain or, at this stage, feel obliged to do anything about it. It is often the conviction that there is nothing we can do about it that prevents us allowing ourselves to feel it at all. But we cannot be open to what God would have us do unless we allow ourselves to be affected and our hearts touched. Then at the end of your meditation, be aware of Jesus beside you, opening his heart to this situation, and talk to him about your feelings and your reactions. And when you do that, it really starts to work. I'm just going to finish by reading a paraphrase of the Lord's Prayer, which I found very, very inspirational. And it's a paraphrase by Jim Cotter. And it is this. And we'll finish with it as a prayer. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Mother and Father of us all, loving God in whom is heaven. The hallowing of your name echo throughout the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For your reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen.